What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping into Destiny 2 with some news and roundups in this video. And initially Bungie have made more adjustments to Umbral Engrams and the power that we can get from them. We've got a bit of an all-around nerf to touch on there, but Bungie also respond to some broken quests and talk about sunsetting, raid loot, and currencies moving into Year 4. And then we've got some upcoming fixes for this season, some new mission secrets, future quest content, Solstice of Heroes, key fragments, as well as a look at some of the darkness powers that we're going to be getting in September. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, a rating down below really does help me out. But now, let's get into it. And so we should speak about yet another change to the Umbral Engram for Season 11. And initially there was the AFK farm. Bungie managed to sort that one out by returning players to orbit after a forge completion. And then players were using macros on PC to still be able to farm the forges, but now Bungie have gone ahead and nerfed or adjusted the Umbral Engrams. So they did this server side and said players weren't receiving the appropriate amount of twisted energy after earning Umbral Enhancement 2. And so that's fixed, but in addition, focused Umbral Engrams could sometimes decrypt at higher power than intended, which was actually the main reason that Umbral Engrams were really good for power leveling, right? Because they would very often decrypt at a higher level than what they stated they were going to be. And so it looks like they were probably dropping the bonus power from the first 3 focus engrams at random, but very regularly, and so this is no longer the case. I actually thought it was pretty nice to gain non-pinnacle power in a really organic way, you know, AFK farms aside. I think it was cool to see more power dropping from seasonal content, but let us know what you think about it down in the comment section. But when players showed frustration about the fact that Bungie could fix this problem, but not the controller sprint issue, Cosmo pointed out that they haven't completely fixed the issue with AFK farming, and that what they've done are server-side fixes. However, the controller sprint issue requires an update to the game, and that's one that we'll be getting this week. And he also said elsewhere that they are taking feedback about power level increases season over season, and the possibility of returning to smaller 10 power level bumps between seasons. So once again, give us your thoughts about that down below. This week in the game though, we did get a new version of the interference mission with some cool new dialogue from Nokris that refers to the Taken Queen, Savathun. And then there are new areas we can fight through as well. So it's pretty cool. Doesn't come with a ton of dialogue present, but here are the main cuts from the mission.
The messages of darkness. Use the seeds to dispel their foul influence.
The Taken Queen saves. Freedom for bondage.
This is a simple message. Eggshell. The term carries all the impermanence and fragility you would expect. The darkness sees the traveler as something keeping us isolated from the outside world. It is a barrier we are meant to outgrow and break through.
Kind of curious stuff right there, and of course, throughout this season, we are going to see further iterations of the mission. And spoiler alert, but JB3 recently shared both a hidden section with a pyramid statue, as well as a new Court of Oryx style area, so there'll definitely be more to look forward to there. But of course, at some point in the near future, Titan will get the contact event as well. And we can see from the listings right here that the featured areas for the event are going to be the Rig, as well as Siren's Watch. So we'll have to see when that one drops, but we've now seen 2 of the bosses for the event, and I believe the next one will be the Taken Howler. With us having a lesser detailed roadmap this season, players do wonder when particular items will become available. And initially, Moments of Triumph starts in around 2.5 weeks on July 7th. And according to Today in Destiny, it looks like the ornament for Ruinous Effigy will become available on the same day, or at least that is how it's been scheduled in the store for now. So it's got the potential to change, but most likely it means that that new exotic trace rifle will either launch on that week or will already have become available by that point in time. We also spoke a couple of days ago about the newly leaked perks for the weapon, allowing it to create transmutation spheres that can be picked up and used as weapons themselves. So that's going to be pretty cool, and I'll link that video down below if you want further details on the weapon and the quest. But following that, a major beat of the season will be the Exodus phase for Season 11. And from what we know, completing the evacuation quest will award the Travelers Chosen in exotic form, and the ornament for that is listed for sale on August 4th, but it's pretty likely that the process of completing the associated quest will take a couple of weeks. And the first legendary phase for the quest is where we're going to see the introduction of new rare weekly bounties for each of the locations that'll be going away, and we'll need to complete them as part of the quest, which ultimately awards us an Exodus-focused Umbral Engram. And then there is the exotic phase for the quest, where the Exodus actually takes place, and the tail end of that is going to set up the story for Year 4, but also it should reward the Traveler's Chosen exotic. And spoiler warning once again, but this step of the quest actually seems to coincide with what the database is calling an end-of-season event, and this is highlighted by the Calamity Protocol emblem and in the quest we will investigate a mysterious signal from the currently disabled Rasputin to ultimately collect pieces of the Warminder's salvage in an attempt with Anna to essentially save Rasputin. And spoiler alert once again, but this is where a teaser in an upcoming lore book suggests that Anna has rescued an experimental exoframe from Clovis Bray, indicating the possibility of a walking, talking Rasputin in the future. Pretty dope stuff. But beyond that, right at the tail end of the season, we're going to be getting Solstice of Heroes. This is the final kind of roadmap event for Year 3, and by then we will have learned quite a bit about Beyond Light, but Bungie have already teased a very nice looking set of Warlock Armor right here. That looks pretty cool, right? And as far as I know, that armor set shouldn't be sunset for a full year, and of course there is the potential of universal ornaments, and then transmog specifically should be coming much later on in Year 4, which makes the long-term appeal of these pieces of armor a little bit better for sure. And then for the event itself, new bounties added this season show that Solstice key fragments indeed seem to be returning, alongside references to the European aerial zone, and so it'll probably be somewhat similar to what we've seen previously. Now though, let's round up some updates and conversation in the community. A lot of people have been talking about the fact that they can't accept the weekly means to an end quest at the moment, and Cosmo said that Bungie are looking into this one, so hopefully it's something that can be fixed pretty soon. It seems the intro quest and the means to an end quest have a couple of different bugs at the minute, so I'll keep you posted when Bungie give us any details. But there was also a lot of conversation about sunsetting of raid gear, because one of the Help articles was kind of contradicting what Bungie had previously said, but Cosmo confirmed Garden of Salvation and Last Wish gear will be granted an exception from the max power cap rules, and they're going to have a max power cap that allows them to be infused to the max power cap of Season 14, but the UI will be updated to start showing this in Season 12. And he also added that this does apply to the current items that you have and any future ones that we earn. So basically, our current raid gear from either of those raids is going to be safe moving into the future. Next though, players have noticed that we're having to pay up to 5,000 Glimmer to apply seasonal artifact mods. And Cosmo said that this is a bug which is going to be fixed soon. Unfortunately not in this week's update, but it'll be in the next one. And I believe those mod costs had been reduced to 500 Glimmer, but we're going to have to live with a bugged version until we get another update. And once again, that won't be the hotfix that we get this week at some point, but it'll be a little bit later on. And also, folks at Bungie and PlayStation are still confirming that the pre-order availability for Beyond Light is still waiting, but it is coming soon. And I believe some folks who had support from PlayStation said that they were waiting on some kind of a store update which is coming shortly, so a little bit frustrating, but no doubt they'll get that one sorted pretty soon because they won't want to be losing pre-orders and things like that for too much longer. DMG also clarified that at some point in the near future, Bungie are going to give us information about what's going to happen to planetary materials and the general economy for that going into Year 4, because of course, we'll have a bunch of materials left over, so it's possible that they'll be converted into something else or adjusted in some other way. Another quick shout right here, but Bungie are going to be on the GCX event charity stream, and that'll be tomorrow, Thursday 18th, from 12 PM to 4 PM Eastern, and they've said they're cooking up some pretty fun incentives for their slot on the stream, so that's something to look out for tomorrow. But now, finally, I wanted to make a quick mention of some of the Stasis abilities that we're going to be seeing in Year 4. And of course, towards the end of this season, we'll be getting ready for Beyond Light. And a quick spoiler alert, but it would appear from some leaked audio recently that we'll even get some kind of a tease from the Darkness, or the new enemy specifically, stating that new powers await us on Europa. And of course, they're referring to Stasis. These will be the new Darkness abilities. And it's a really cool idea, but looking at the name, Stasis kind of suggests that instead of us becoming Darkness Guardians completely, we'll sort of be walking on the edge in a stasis of equilibrium or making some kind of periodic connection to that dark energy. But of course, we've got a lot to learn about the lore behind all of this. However, if we take a quick look right here, it appears that Warlocks are going to be able to summon a kind of crazy darkness spear. These will have pretty crazy animations in general, but as Bungie confirmed, Stasis in itself is actually an element, so we're not looking at arc supers, but we're looking at the Stasis element specifically. And then Hunters are going to get two kind of icy throwing hammers, kind of like small icy pickaxes or something. It'd be pretty fun to have a new projectile for Hunters. And then the Titan is probably the one shrouded in the most mystery at the moment, but essentially the Titan appears to just turn its shoulders into massive, bulky, spiky, icy shoulder things and then do almost like a slam or some kind of attack with it. So it very much fits the theme of the Titan in general, but of course we'll see more of these before the game drops. However, safe to say after a couple of years, we're very much in need of some new abilities, so that's pretty exciting. But for today, guys, that is everything we've got to talk about. Bit of a mixed bag in this video, but I'll be sure to keep you posted on all the things that Bungie talk about over the next few days. And so get subscribed to the channel if you are new around here and you enjoy the content. But otherwise, if you have enjoyed the video, a rating down below really helps me out, and let us know any of your thoughts on what we've spoken about today. Otherwise though, for now, whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.